Hey, this is Minecraft News for Adults. Hey, if you think that the free market matches talent with opportunity, you can stop watching right now. Alright, now that they're gone, this week's project is, I'm trying to get things settled. For up to this point, Minecraft News for Adults has taken place in a Minecraft realm called World 3. Well, we recently learned that the upload size for World's 2 realms was about 5 gigabytes. So, we took an old server world, which was itself a composite of old server worlds, and one second, I'll explain this in a second, which is a composite of old server worlds. We added in the old realm, World 3, to make what we call Ichinana World. What I'm trying to do is to move a lot of my crap out of these old worlds. This is from a world called the Beta site. And I'm trying to see if I can maybe just create a rail system through the nether that'll shoot things through a portal, which is not super far away, but annoyingly far away. And I gotta choose between what goes, what stays, what's important, what's not. And, hopefully that'll be pretty cool. Actually, I'm going to try to do most of this off camera. I'm just kind of doing this because this is not the furthest part, but one of the further parts of this entire world of Ichinana World. So I'm going to kind of do a little tour as I go through and acquaint folks with this new setup, the place I'm going to be working on for Minecraft News for Adults in 2018, which should be, 6 or 7 weekly episodes. Anyway, it has been hard for me to get to talk about the news because I don't want to talk about the one thing constantly. I would like to talk about other things, while still, staying relevant. Not relevant. Just not baby ducklings swimming for the first time relevant. You know what I mean? So this is the path to. It's going to be Reverentville. In fact, if you go a little deeper, you'll end up in a world called Reverentville. I'm sorry, Horsey World. It was a world I made when horses came. I'm sure I'll talk about it a long time. It's not my fault that Nether tunnels are super boring. Because they're super boring. I didn't make the Nether this way. I didn't make it an undifferentiated, massive netherrack, occasionally punctuated with quartz and blocks of lava. I just try to get through it because it's quicker. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, if I pass by some of it, I'll try to show you some of Josh's architecture and how he navigates the Nether, of which I'm highly judgmental. I always think I'm a guy who's focused on function and not aesthetics whenever it comes to Minecraft. And working with another person disabuses me of that perception pretty quickly. Which is good. I need to be disabused of misperceptions. You can see how this is a fairly well-developed part of the Nether, where I got the stairs and you can sort of push through, and got a few little plates of Nether brick. One of the long-term projects is going to be to take the stacks and stacks of Nether bricks, of Netherrack, and smelt them down into bricks and make Nether brick and pave at least the uncovered portions of this route all over the world, which is a lot of Nether brick. We're going to see that. So let's get to. Actually, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. You can see it. I use Nether brick as an aesthetic because it matches the Minecraft aesthetic. This is Glitch Alley, by the way. You can tell from the little fireball over there that just won't go away. It's been there for months, possibly years. I don't know why. They got another one over there. So this is man-made Nether brick that extends a fortress, and yet I think it's 2 for 2 in spawning wither skeletons, which is there they are, 3 for 3, which is great because we need to make another wither. We need to fight the wither, and then we need to make Josh another beacon for his Ichinana hub that he's making, which I'll try to stop by and look at before we get out of here. So anyway, these guys are melee fighters, so I'm just using my very limited supply of bows. I have no armor. This is an unenchanted bow. I died while doing some of this stuff earlier, and kind of feel bad about losing that experience, so I'm going to try to kill this guy in such a way that I can get his experience and his drops. But he is not giving a fuck, is he? I kind of wanted him to come towards me and move towards the center of the platform so I could hit him with a bow. Does he even care? Come on, guy. Come on. You wanna kill all humans? Come on. Come on. Come on. Do the killing thing. You know you want to. You're a giant black skeleton. You're fairly evil. Well, there you go. There you go. Alright. Just gonna hop back to the hay bales and... Fuck. Count on me to spaz that up. And count on him to just drop... Is it... No, it's just one freaking bones. You're supposed to collect all of these wither skeleton heads to do things, but I've never seen a single head of anything drop ever in my entire time playing Minecraft. So I don't even know what's up with that. Is that another? No. So anyway, this is back to the actual Nether Fortress, which connects to Reverentville, which is the center of the world, and we're gonna see. I might stop by if I feel like it. Anyway, let's talk about... Oh, shit. There's a blaze spawn around here somewhere. One of them just missed me. So Congress is trying to change the Civil Rights Act so that individuals with disabilities can be indefinitely put on hold by businesses who claim substantial progress towards making their buildings accessible. It's not unreasonable to ask businesses to make their facilities accessible. It's not like it's day one. Like, this has been a law for 20 years, the Americans with Disabilities Act. This is the hub of Reverentville. You can see the tunnels that go off different places. That's the ladder that goes up. They're going to take this one through this other net. Well, it might be the same Nether Fortress. It might be a different. I'm not 100%. I kind of staked this one out. The levels have different colors: blue to green to yellow going up, blue to purple to red going down. If I had it to do over again, I would set this as the blue level, even though it's relatively high, because there are some levels below this which aren't super important because, you know, it's cleared out, so it's safe. So now we just sort of use it as a thoroughfare. Right, so anyway, you know, like, if you're a business and you have a building, how hard is it to make that building accessible? Either you're building a building, in which case you just build it. Just build it with that stuff in there. Or you're buying a building, in which case it doesn't have those abilities, and you should... Oh yeah, that's Josh's route. You can see it's just a straight shot of covered stone from one point to the other using F3. I don't use F3, that's why my paths are kind of meandering. I just sort of navigate. That goddamn cow. So anyway, if you're going to buy a building that's not compliant, you could take off the price, because you're going to have to make it compliant. You know what I mean? I don't see... it's like building a building without a bathroom. Like, the only reason you wouldn't care is if you aggressively did not use the bathroom and hated people who did. It's just so weird that people just can't do that, and Congress is sympathetic to that. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense that other violations of the law are subject to immediate remedies, and that anything the law does allows an immediate remedy. But violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act is sort of we're doing stuff. And so you not only have to prove failure to meet the Americans with Disabilities Act, you then have to say, oh no, also their progress isn't substantial later. It just makes a sustained slog whenever someone who should know better is trying to fix themselves. It seems ridiculous. And I'm just terrible at arrows. I mean, I'm going to complain about arrow shortages, but part of that is just crappy aim. There you go. It's a completely unenchanted gas thing. I'm so lucky. If you dodge sideways into fire, you probably would have dodged sideways off a freaking cliff. This place has plenty of cliffs. So that set of stairs up there, it's super vulnerable and it's over lava. Oh, crying out loud. One reason I don't want to run this is because that is a set of netherrack stairs, and come on. I wonder if trailing back those blasts is the best way to aim an arrow at a ghast. Probably not. It's probably just coincidence. They're probably just, existing in the same space, like when bullets shoot each other. Anyway, I'm going to go down and get this experience, because screw this. I'm not going to fight 3 ghasts without getting the experience for fighting 3 ghasts. And let's be honest, there should be a little more experience than this, but whatever. Anyway, if you're a business, you should obey the law. And if you don't obey the law, you should be compelled to obey the law. None of this, I'm trying, bullcrap. In August, there was a biracial boy in Claremont, New Hampshire. He was hung, not to death, but for a while by a group of teens. And the picture of the rope burns on his neck went viral. The teens were throwing rocks and racial slurs at this kid a couple days before, but the parents of one of those teenagers later claimed it was an accident while the kids were playing. Like teenagers and 8-year-olds do, I guess. And that the parents and the grandparents of the kid who obviously got hung were lying. Anyway, they're garbage failed parents of fucking shitty kids. Kids don't play with nooses around their necks. Teens don't usually play with 8-year-olds. You don't get rope burns like that from an accident that lasts a few seconds. And teenagers lie, especially when they do effed up stuff. I don't know. These parents shouldn't get death threats. Like, they just shouldn't do that, no matter whether or not they're the shitty lying parents of racist kids. But they are the shitty lying parents of racist kids. How do you even... So you can see that I've kind of cut through little paths that used to go up and down. I think I died in that last hill like 8 times from a lava thing that I thought was a point source. And it turns out it was a pool source, area source. Kurds in Iraq are voting on an independence referendum. Not a substantive one. It's just sort of symbolic because it's not going to happen. The U.S. isn't happy about it simply because we don't want Iraq to disintegrate while we've got our finger on it. Afterwards, fine. While we have our finger on it, don't like that so much. Turkey doesn't like that because they just hate Kurds. They have Kurds in their territory. They're pretty thoroughly suppressing right now, or trying to. And Iraq doesn't want it because... I guess there's oil there. There'd have to be oil there, right? Otherwise, I don't understand why you would want to desperately cling to, stretches of desert with minorities on it unless it had oil. They have good fighters. So maybe oil and fighters. The Kurds have been doing a lot of good work against ISIS in the past couple of years. So, I don't know. The vote is a jack-off for Kurdish leaders, but it still gives voice to the region's desire for independence, which, why not? And this isn't right. This shouldn't be. That's no good. There should be a wall here, and then there should be a path in this corner. But I'm not feeling particularly Indiana Jonesy. Like, it's probably here. I'm not doing that though. I don't have a proper axe simply because I'm gonna relog. There's also like it's not in the script, but there's Awalaki. That's probably not the guy. The guy that runs ISIS. I forget his name. He apparently released a new tape recently, and I tell you what, while we're doing this stuff, while Minecraft's getting stuff sorted out, leader of ISIS. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, right? Because he's from Baghdad. So yeah, no, we got a tape released from him. He's been real quiet lately, simply because he thought it was going to last forever. There we go. That's the path I remember. Taking Mosul, taking major cities. He declared a caliphate. That's the last we heard of him, and now he ain't got nothing but a war in Syria. Are they shifting to Malaysia? I don't want to say that without researching it. Anyway, the Russians said they killed him a while back, but Russians lie. Idiots. So anyway, I'm actually gonna probably extend that fortress thing over there straight because I keep doubling back in here, so I can just straighten this out. Because you're about to see me noodle my way through this. I call it the Black Fortress because it's unexplored, so it's still darkened. I just have one path through it lit up to kind of trail me which way to go. Let's just go. Let's go. Oh yeah, it goes here. Yeah, all right. I log off for 4 days and I fucking forget this place exists. So anyway, I think that was a blaze spawner I had to break up. Oh hey, but yeah, no. Speaking of Russians, on May 19th, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov died. In September of 1983, he was in charge of a Russian command center when radar reported 5 incoming American nuclear missiles. The radar was faulty, but Petrov didn't know that. Instead of calling in a nuclear strike that would have started World War III, he called in a radar malfunction, and the facts later backed him up. Stanislav Petrov saved the world from a radar that read reflected sunlight as a nuclear first strike. We learned about his death 4 months after it happened because Russian authorities have given no great importance to his actions. I don't know. Seems messy. Fuck. Goddamn pigs. Okay, zombie pigmen. I hate them so much. They're the worst. They are the worst. I don't know what they add to this game other than... I guess they do add some flavor to the Nether. I was just griping about how unflavorful and uniform the Nether was. So, yeah, zombie pigmen for spicing things up. This is going to take me all the way to World 3. You're probably going to be familiar with this. The Nether shifted like a few hundred blocks that way. So the Nether's still there. It just doesn't connect like it used to. All the doors are different. If you were paying attention to Nether. I'm going to do some really boring sorting and organizing stuff. So hang on to your butts. Anyway, the American Civil Liberties Union is suing to close a border loophole for unwarranted search and seizures. Apparently, authorities can't search your personal property without cause, right? Unless you're entering the country, even if you're a citizen. So, U.S. citizens who are entering the U.S. can be subjected to search and seizure without reason. That's just a thing, I guess. The article even mentions individuals who have been compelled into divulging passwords for personal electronics. Again, for no cause. If you hate government overreach, this seems like a good cause to back. You're talking anyone that the government doesn't like can be targeted for this. I mean, journalists you get a lot of, but anyone really. On that note, when the St. Louis Police Department cleared out protests on September 17th, they arrested a lot of rabble-rousers and troublemakers and hardened criminals. No, I'm just kidding. They arrested journalists who were cooperating, veterans who lived in the area where the protests were happening, and actual undercover police officers. I just want to restate that undercover St. Louis Police Department officers who should be well-versed and motivated to cooperate with authorities were subdued, handcuffed, arrested, and bloodied by police for failure to cooperate with authorities. Indiscriminate use of force by police undermines public confidence and fails to achieve the intended ends of law enforcement. When police fail to be discriminating and they use force beyond their mandate, citizens are justified in using force to defend themselves. I mean, not with guns, because police stole the gun from a law-abiding civilian who was carrying a gun, but, somehow vaguely, I guess. That is the end of my articles. I usually have a comment, like kind of a big theme article comment. I'm not doing that today because this one was just difficult to grind out. Every week trying to find 2 articles which are separate, which can be conjoined with the comment thing is difficult. That's why I do it. I do it every month, and I didn't do it this month. So, womp womp. Magic news. Magic's been good. We're going to Ixalan. Ixalan's coming out pretty soon. I think it's already out. It's good. It looks good. It's pirates, dinosaurs, conquistador vampires, and merfolk. Usually I can interact with that a little bit just by making fun of it, but honestly, there's not a lot to make fun of there. It's already taken itself pretty lightly, it seems. I mean, still, it looks like a great set, but it looks like it's taking itself pretty lightly in terms of tone. So you're like, how do you make fun of that? And you don't. So it looks good and exciting and fun. Everyone's liking Jace now that he's amnesiac and becoming a new person. Just make the jump, Chris. There you go. You have 100 times before. It's not hard. So Jace is an amnesiac. He's teaming up with Vraska, who's a Gorgon. They're playing pirates. Jace is being useful. So the lore's satisfactory, the set's satisfactory, the theme's satisfactory. There's not a lot to dig into without like the little flaw. And the last set was, an entire civilization which had built itself around a religion based on a lie. So kind of heavy stuff. And now it's just like, hey, pirates trying to find treasure. And then after that, it's going to be Dominaria. So it'd be really easy for this set to get overshadowed by, oh yeah, whatever, we're just going to wait for Dominaria. But instead, they went all out with it. And it's got some cheap punches in there. I mean, dinosaurs, whatever. But people are excited about it. And pirates and pirate jokes and pirate themes. So I need a place to store my snow. I'm not 100% sure on why I collect snow. I think it was really novel at one point. But now I have to store it. Anyway, Battletech. Oh, wow, really? Battletech. Battletech is still on this list. Alright, I guess I try to do a project every Wednesday. So one of those projects probably will be collecting a lot of my Battletech rules and house rules and equipment and things like that. And just putting that into a PDF and then kicking that onto our Battletech and then probably never touching Battletech again except as a cultural referent, honestly. RPGs. Oh yeah, I've been doing Pathfinder Carrion Crown campaign with Josh. Reluctant. I mean, he hasn't run a campaign in a while. His campaigns have not always been successful. So he asked me to come aboard, and I don't want to do horror, and I don't want to do Pathfinder. And I prefer to spend my evenings hanging around, my place drinking. But I thought, if it doesn't go well, he needs at least one person to show up. So I attended one session. He's got like 8 people, and it's successful. So one of the reasons I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff off screen is just because this is it. It's just shuttle runs back and forth through the Nether. Not really exciting visual work for y'all. I'm going to have a project I'm actually working on next time, so that ideally I would like to supercut, right? To just say, hey, look, here's a time lapse or a supercut of this place before and after I started this project. And I might have to cut back through that to make this not double back, so it's a straighter shot. Anyway, and me just running back and forth to the Nether isn't a project, it's housekeeping. And I'm going to try to be more conscious of that next week, probably the week after next. I'm, believe it or not, trying really hard to refocus on this Minecraft News for Adults thing. Anyway, so I'm doing Carrion Crown. Didn't really want to, but I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Because of the nature of the work I'm doing right now, I'm probably going to be working opposite Josh for a while, and that'll give me a good reprieve. And I'm not worried about him hearing this simply because no one watches these things. Thank God. Movies and TV. Yeah, The Orville. What do we got? We got 8 minutes left. I can probably cram that into 8 minutes. So The Orville in Star Trek Discovery. People ask me this stuff all the time because I am the Orville. I am the Star Trek guy. The Orville's pretending to be Star Trek. Discovery is also pretending to be Star Trek. Cheap shot. But no. The Orville, it's a show on Fox. Seth MacFarlane tries to do Star Trek. Dude loves Star Trek. He's giving it his best freaking shot. And it's falling short in a lot of ways. The latest episode they do, For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky, there's a civilization inside of a generation ship which is unaware that they are in a generation ship. So there's a religious theocracy attempting to suppress the truth because there's no world outside. And So the crew has to overcome that in order to save all of them because they're headed for a star or a planet or whatever. Anyway, it's good. Some of the beats were a little off. The story structure I have questions about. Usually, right, when you have this, whether it's Star Trek or Sliders, because this episode felt a lot like Sliders, you get the feeling that, okay, so you go down, you're like, hey guys, what's up? We're from space, wherever. And like, there is no space. So you run to the population, and then like a resistance member comes out of the crowd, like, you're saying heresy, come with me and we'll help you. And then they meet the resistance, and then the resistance leads them to the bad guy, and the bad guy's like, yeah, I knew the whole time. Here's how you turn the engines back on or whatever. And then they solve the problem and they go about, because it's an hour-long show, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to meet the resistance, you're going to meet the bad guy, you're going to solve the problem. So what the Orville does, and it doesn't do a clever twist on it, it just backs up the plot, is you meet the people, you meet the resistance, you meet the bad guys, you go back to the resistance, and the resistance leads you to solving the problem. So talking to the bad guy is only a side quest, which kind of makes sense because the bad guy has no moral heft. He's just an idiot asshole. Like, you look at his actions and you're like, oh, he really believes this. He suspects it's false. He doesn't suspect it's false. He completely believes this. So then there's a line of dialogue which is like, oh, you interrogator, therefore you must believe this is false. But it's like there's no signs of that. There's not like he turns around and there's a giant computer thing that says Doral. There's no like, oh yes, I know. Here's, an Atraxamite desk mug, which you can only get Atraxamite from outside of the space station because of the science of how it works or whatever. Like, there's none of that. He appears to be entirely believing in his own, stuff, and then there's a line of dialogue that says he doesn't, and then we're just like, oh, so he's extra evil because he knew, but it's pointless because we never see that guy again. And then we never resolve how his control over the populace is broken. I mean, there is a convenient reveal to the entire populace that you're not alone in the galaxy button. That you're not the center of the universe button. I don't know. It also does that thing where the robot who asks about human behavior says, hey, what about this aspect of human behavior? And, the show that explores human behavior and psychology and humanity itself, which kind of positions itself to reflect that and educate us about that, has a character who goes, I don't know, it's complicated, I don't want to think about it. So the thing is that Isaac, the robot, is there with the doctor who's the old person, and he's asking the captain about his personal life, and the captain's like, oh, shut up, robot. Which is a frustrating scene. I'm going to take y'all to Reverentville real quick so I can see the Reverentville hub. And instead of having like the old wise doctor go, oh, maybe this and this, kind of like hedging around the real reasons for Mercer's thing, doing that for him in the audience. That's the original hub, and that is, it's like it's cool. It's a cool thing. That's where the original spawn point was, past there. This is the common cabin. This used to be an incinerator. There used to be lava in that stone thing. But really, this is the common area, enchanting stuff, basic stuff in the shelves. And you can see you got farms over here. Used to be chickens on the left. That's the library. Birch farms. I don't know who needs a freaking birch farm. They don't get overgrown like oak does, so there's that. They're fairly easy to chop down. Anyway, so instead of having the doctor and the robot kind of hedge around that while the captain's uncomfortable with it, I just have a scene that goes nowhere and does nothing. And then they talk about how Alara, which is the tiny girl who does security, is super strong and it makes it hard for her to date. But then she gets shot in the next scene, and that makes her really vulnerable, which seems weird. Like they were worried that people wouldn't want to be interested in a character on a TV show if she was strong, so they made her vulnerable, or they made her vulnerable for the captain. Because let me tell you, I'm going to quit watching that show immediately if something happens between Alara and the captain. That's messed up, yo. Like, her character is that she's young. That's how we are introduced to her. That is her first major plot line, And if something happened, like the cabin's already like 10 years older, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So the thing is, this is Josh's path. You can see how it's very regimented, very direct, very very contained. Anyway, but it's good. I think it still has promise. Discovery, I don't know anything about because of CBS All Access. I'm not going to pay for that. All right. I talked about the Orville. I was kidding about the 8 minutes, but I did go through 6 minutes of it there. What do we got here? Star Wars movies. Oh yeah, there's a new one coming out. I would like to see that. I always want to see Star Wars movies because Star Wars movies. Oh hey, Josh set up his own little. Great. We have a graveyard back in Megalopolis. So you know what you're going to get. It's going to be fun. It's going to be things and feelings and drama and action. Star Wars movies, as long as they're good, I'll keep watching them. I don't watch Star Trek movies because I expect more from Star Trek movies, and they often fail. No video game news. I mean, there's always video game news and stupid Cuphead controversy, but I don't got enough time to get into that. Let's see. NaNoWriMo. It's happening in about a month, isn't it? God damn it. Dead Parents Dungeon. You're still working on that, still hacking away at it. I had to do a complete overhaul, still coming out of the overhaul. I drafted out some twists. I'm going to basically make a new order of play based on those twists, and then I'm going to reconstruct everything to fit that new style of play and try to make sure I hit some specific mechanical interaction bailiwicks, which is something the first draft really lacked. Beige and the Bold's going good. We had that marathon. Yeah, so this is Josh's tower. It's freaking amazing. A little uniform. He says he's going to put some textures into it later. So I'm like 6 episodes behind on that. An episode should go up Monday. I know I'm incredibly inconsistent on that, but it should be cute and everything up from Monday. My goal is to get one up. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to kill this guy and take his arrows. I'm always short on arrows. So I love killing skeleton. That's another bow. That's like... It's like needing a bucket and getting more water. Okay. So that's it. No Disco Comics. I'll see you later.